Welcome to Discover Indie Film. I'm Jeff Howard, and I'm on Zoom right now with two wonderful people, Benjamin Deutscher and Lauren Taggart. Hey, you two.
Hey!
Hello. Great to be
and
here.
I think everyone can know whose voice is whose.
I hope so.
I'm glad you asked because I'm Lauren.
Right? And I'm Ben.
Exactly. I don't know why I'm throwing this in at the beginning, but I once had identical twins on this podcast.
Oh, whoa.
And did they sound exactly the same?
Yeah, and it's audio only. And I'm like, how do we keep... So I had to keep saying, like, that's this brother. That's because, But anyway, I'm like, how... You guys should have done separate. But anyway...
Yeah, that's a situation where you should.
So Ben and Lauren are on the podcast because they collaborated on The Storm. The Storm is, I'm just going to call it a feature. It's slightly over 60 minutes, right?
It is 60 minutes and I think 18 seconds.
Right? So the funny thing is at Sherman Oaks Film Festival, so it had its world premiere at Sherman Oaks Film Festival in December of 2025. And absolutely made my day. It's just a brilliant piece of work. And it was,
thank you.
I know that you didn't sit around holding the film back going, I will not submit it until I can premiere at Sherman Oaks Film Festival. But I'm just glad that the timing worked out, that forever we will be the first festival that screened it for an audience. I assume you probably had some private screenings and stuff before.
This was the first, public audience screening, and we were honored to be there. And you guys treated us so well, and it was a great theater, and we really appreciate it. Thank you for allowing us to show our film there.
Wow, it's an honor. So the talking about the length was just to set up this, which I'm about to ramble off a couple of awards that you won for everyone listening, which is you got the Grand Jury Award for Best Feature Film Animation and the Audience Award for Best Featurette. Now, see, that's the funny thing about Sherman Oaks Film Festival is after COVID, we used to have shorts and features, and the cutoff was 45 minutes. But you know what? A 42-minute short and a 7-minute short should not be going for the same award.
Yeah, it's apples and oranges.
Yeah, that's pretty arbitrary.
Nor should that weird range from 20 to 60 minutes started becoming really high quality. It's after COVID. I think just a lot of people sat down during lockdown and took some longer pieces and really made them sing. Like all these older, because it used to be once a short was over 20 minutes, you tended to watch it and go, yeah, they needed to cut 7 minutes out of this sucker.
Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely.
that 20 to 60 minute category got so strong on its own that we decided, our team just went, you know what, let's treat them separately. So The Storm did end up getting submitted as a featurette because it was listed as 60 minutes. But I actually stepped in and went, wait a minute, let's give it the Grand Jury Award for Best Feature Film Animation because it's just over 60 minutes and it deserves it.
Thank you.
And that's
so
why
much.
you get the Audience Award for Best Featurette. And you also, wait, there's more than this, isn't it? And then the Grand Jury Award for Best Sound Design of a featurette.
Oh my gosh, Ben!
Right. Oh, yeah. You didn't know that, Lauren?
No, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
Amazing. No.
And then the last, it's not on my list, but the score one, right?
The score, yes. Best score for Sylvain
totally
as well.
won.
Yeah. Which
well deserved.
he well deserved. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Well deserved. And I have to update our website because actually the score award didn't make it onto our website. That's what I copied and pasted from. But if you want to name I should have named that the sound designer was Richard Larimore.
Yes.
Because...
Yeah. And I just called him Rick, but Richard Larimore. And then the score is Sylvain Kauffman.
Right.
Great work on both fronts.
Score. Amazing, because as wonderful a work of art the visuals of The Storm are, and I guess I didn't even tell everyone yet that it's a 1-hour animated film, digital animation, and it's just gorgeous. I'm going to use the line right now. I consider it a moving work of art. It's like it's a work of art.
Thank you.
Which all great animation is, but there's a lot of not great animation in this world. And honestly, the audio portion of it, you didn't slack, right? Like that's, I mean, everyone talks about the importance of sound in music and film, but it really is huge.
Oh, so true,
And
especially on this one.
thankfully, our festival, Sherman Oaks Film Festival, runs in a really high quality theater. So I did actually, I wanted to watch the whole thing. I was like busy and I could, but I snuck in. I probably saw the last 20 minutes in the theater, and I was just honestly sitting in the back row. And I'm not sure I warned you that we can curse on the podcast, but we can. We have the explicit box checked. And
Hell
I think
yeah.
I was sitting in the back just going, fuck. And like, and then the music, and then when the visuals would, transition, and then the music would meet it, I'd be like, "Fuck!" And the fuck was
We're now
honestly
rated R.
right because the sound in the theater is just amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
it yeah, and then the surround sound aspect and just yeah, especially those last 20 minutes that you saw. I think that's where the score really gets to shine. Like I
Yeah,
mean
because
it's telling the story the
you're
whole time, but at the end, Sylvain really let loose because that's when the emotions are flowing and yeah, in a theater it's great. We were talking about it afterward and of course, he's all smiles, he loved it. But according to his brother, he always says the theater could be a little louder. And apparently just every single screening he says that. He's like, could have been louder, could have been
Wants to
louder.
be assaulted by sound.
that's funny because I might be on the same page, but I remember it being loud. But hey,
I do too, but I think that every musician I've ever heard has always said that.
Maybe
It's
it's
almost like
because
a
every
cliche.
musician has a little bit of hearing loss from all those gigs they do.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, a couple of my performing buddies, they definitely can't hear any high end, so they just crank stuff up quite a bit.
I need my mic a little louder.
Hmm.
totally true, totally true. Well, so I think that covers the introduction, and the purpose of this podcast is really I am glutton personally to discuss film and the people who make them. And so even though Sherman Oaks Film Festival and its sister festival, Film Invasion Los Angeles, have pretty long Q&As, we do at least 15 minutes for every single film, regardless of its length. That's not enough for a film that, well, you want to say how many? I think I remember you saying the number of years the storm took, but you want
Yeah.
to just say it?
Well, it's between 7 and 8 years to complete the project. So,
So I think you
um,
need a little more than 15 minutes. Although you
Yeah.
probably had more than that at the theater, but still. But it
well,
might
and
have been
we
close.
appreciate your Q&As as well. Everybody did such a great job with that, and it's cool to recognize that, especially with the screenwriters who do rarely get a chance to discuss their work. But no, the
Yeah, that
Q&As
was
are
fun.
wonderful.
Oh, you two snuck in, or not snuck in.
Yeah.
You attended the
Yeah.
screenplay awards
That
ceremony.
was so
Yeah,
fun.
that
And
was great.
Christian did such a great job moderating that. That was awesome.
Christian is fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, did Christian do your Q&A, or I thought it was it Josh?
I believe Josh.
Yeah.
Josh with the long, beautiful hair.
Yep.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, he was fantastic.
Isn't he
We
great?
were in
I have
good
to I
hands
have to
with him.
admit, it was so stressful for me when I relinquished Q&A moderation as part of my what do you call it? Responsibilities.
Hmm.
But thankfully auditioned lots of Josh's alumni and they're all alumni and actually made people audition on Zoom, believe it or not.
Oh,
And like
really?
do a fake Q&A moderation so I could like get a feel of who would do it really well because it's key, right? It's really the main part. I always make this argument that if you're just going to watch a film and then walk out of the theater and not discuss it, you might as well stay home.
Right.
Yeah. No, totally. If there's some involvement with the creators, then it changes things.
Yeah, and
100%
and
agree.
you've watched it together, so you should discuss it together. I mean, my joke is if we ever end up with a generous benefactor who wants to donate, get a tax write-off and donate our entire budget, I'd be like, "Oh, cool. Now we'll do an hour Q&A after every
Oh
film."
man. That'd be so great.
Actually, that would be awesome. Yeah, I'd love it.
It
Well,
totally
then
and it reframes your understanding of the film sometimes because you get insight and like yeah, I remember talking to you after one of the horror films, and I'm not a horror film gal. I can't handle it. But after getting a little bit of insight from you about the filmmaker, I was like, it makes so much sense. And now I feel differently about this movie that I felt traumatized by. But it
That's a
was,
traumatic you're
you know what I
talking
mean?
about. It's
Yeah.
funny. Now I always called it Lokia, and then someone else called it Losha, and I'm like, well, I haven't gotten to talk to the filmmaker, so I
I
don't
have
even
no
know what to
idea.
call it. But yeah, that film, oh, that film pulls something out of you.
Uh-huh.
That's a journey. That's a tough one. I wish that the filmmaker could have been there just to
Yeah, I would have loved
discuss
to have
a
talked to
work
him.
like that.
Yeah, the writer director is based in Austin, and the lead actor, she was dying to be
Phenomenal.
there, and she got pulled out to the desert for some shoot.
Oh,
Oh
got it.
man.
Fairly
Makes sense.
successful actress, so
Well, of
got
course, look how good
was
she
not
was.
able to attend, but I'm going to get to meet her soon when she picks up a trophy.
Hey.
Oh, good.
But anyway, we are discussing other. We're discussing. Thank you both for saying kind things about the festival, but I've got to nip that in the bud now because
Oh,
we got to
okay.
talk about both of you and your film. So this podcast is about finding out, of course, how you got into filmmaking. So who wants to go first with your with the who started youngest? Were you both
Ben.
creative kids?
Ben. Go,
Um,
Ben.
I
All right,
suppose
Ben.
so.
Ben, what got
Uh,
you what set you on the path that you ended up an animator and a writer and a director?
hmm. Well, I think there's, a lot of answers at different levels. Um, One of them was I started as a child, I was always drawing, of course. Um, Not paying attention, drawing in class, drawing in church, drawing everywhere. Half my life went by just as I'm staring at the page. And I how I think that that happened internally is drawing eventually became not enough, so it went into like sculpture and then digital and eventually filmmaking. But when I tried to pick up a video camera and get my friends to do stuff, I'm like, well, there's no cool creatures, there's no big, beautiful cities. Like, this is ugly. I need visual effects. And no one was going to do it for me in Fresno, California. So I had to learn myself. And that sort of set me on the path to every director's dream, which is ultimate control over your product, being a fully creating your art from top to bottom. Um, So I think that's the kind of the superficial journey. But then the other side of it is the emotional response. I don't really see any other line of work or area of life that has that kind of power that art does, to elicit and heal and change your mentality. And I was just talking to a buddy about this, especially music can do it so quickly. It's a potent medium. It only takes 30 seconds to make you cry, right? And us in film, we wish we could do it that quick. It takes us a little longer. But it's you it's a communication form. You're learning about someone else, whether you are aware of it or not, and they are learning about their audience through the experience of watching it and the experience of creating it. The learning comes through creating as well to a very intense degree. And I think that that just kept pulling me along through life, so that no other job or activity seemed as valuable or as interesting. So I just kept doing it. And then one day I arrogantly said, I want to make a this short film. I'm going to do it in a year. I'll take a year off and I'll make it. And then
Famous
the
last
storm
words.
took 8 years to finish.
Oh wait, you jumped. I want more details. So,
Oh, sure.
as a young creative kid who I get it. So you had images in your mind that you wanted to
Yes.
you had a vision, right? You had a vision that you couldn't really get by holding a video camera and asking your friends to do stuff. So that's when you turned to animation and that part of it. And then you became aware, it sounds like you became aware as a very young person of the emotional impact of the medium. But the question is,
Yes.
Was it high school? Was it middle school? Was it
Hmm.
when did you? Because my understanding is from having met you at the festival that your college degree was animation.
Oh, well, I did some animation in college. I actually did not graduate. I jumped ship to go work on film.
Oh, awesome. Oh, wait,
So,
but I'm trying to go back to like
but
so
way
so
back, yeah.
when did you first start? You learned
So,
it, but like when did you really lock in like as a young person?
well, there was kind of parallel journeys happening. I guess it started when I was like 11 or 12 when I picked up a video camera, the old literal tape. It was, yeah, videotape back then. Not even HD was around yet. Um, and I was filming stuff, but at the same time, I was just messing around with. I remember that my dad brought home the first Apple iMac, the colored ones from way back in like
Yes.
97, 98, and they had a just a sleuth of creative tools that really kind of put Apple in a better standing in the PC world because Windows computers didn't have a lot of those creative artist tools. And so as a young person, I was just messing around with very rudimentary 3D and Photoshop. And as the years went on, and so into middle school, that's when I'm thinking, this movie looks like trash. I need some visual effects. And then I started to get okay in high school. That's when like a little bit of quality started to peek through, and I was actually making completed uh, shorts of questionable quality.
But important learning,
Very much
important
so. Yeah,
experience. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, if you don't make those questionable ones, then you don't learn the mechanics. You don't learn what lands, and what doesn't. You got to watch your work with people to see how it's affecting them. So yeah, it was all valuable, of course, and fun. It was great, That, like I said, kept me going through life. It was awesome.
Excellent. And then so graduating high school, you knew exactly what you wanted to focus on.
Very much so. I remember distinctly as a sophomore in high school thinking to myself, um, is there some way that I can quit high school?
I
Because
want to
I'm like,
quit
I
high
got,
school and go intern at Pixar.
yeah, exactly. Well, that was my dream. That's what I wanted to do. And I was like, I wonder if I could do that. And then I started thinking further ahead, and I'm like, can I just skip college? Can I just stop all this and get going? But of course, my parents wouldn't allow it. And, I had to graduate high school. Um, and then at the time, college seemed like the best way, uh, which, it makes connections. That's the value of college, in my opinion, is you meet very talented, great people. Um, Even if the actual education part of it, you might be better suited just doing it on your own. Experience is the best teacher. Which I do have to say, I had a one film teacher in college who was so great because his whole semester, this was Dr. Moses. He said, the whole semester is open. You just have to have a film done by the end of it. Short film done. Group project, so 4 to 5 people by the end, have a film.
Going to be an
And I
animated
took
film?
it. Huh?
An animated film or any film?
This was just any film,
Any
live
film.
action, animated, whatever. And so actually, I took that particular course with a buddy of mine. We're thinking, well, we've been filmmaking for a while. This will be easy. But then you get into the group aspect, right? And different personality types, start to show up. And so that's where people management really came into play. And also not being the director. You get comfortable when you're in charge. And then if you have to take on another position, you got to learn, how that world works now and what maybe is how a director is better suited to aid that world. Um, and you learn that the best by doing it, I think. I think every actor should or every director should try acting, should try shooting on a camera by themselves. Even I think, no director would ever do this, but it's like you should try animating something because that'll teach you so much. It changes how you think about things. So anyway, that was a great little piece of college was Dr. Moses's class because we ended up with a movie that was awful. It was abysmal. And Dr. Moses like also knew it. We knew it. We're like, hey, listen, like we're sorry. Like this is bad, but we've worked so hard on it. And he's like, no, no, you guys are getting A's. I can tell like what you've learned is has been tremendous. And I know you've worked on it every single weekend. The quality doesn't matter for this particular class. And I was like, thank God. And now I remember the day we turned it in, I scrubbed my hands of it and I put the hard drive away. And I think that was the same day that Avengers came out, the first Avengers film. That was back when we still enjoyed Marvel movies. So my buddies and I went to watch that to seal that semester away. But now I look back at it very fondly. It was tremendous amount of learning taking place.
Excellent, excellent. And then well, we could jump over to Lauren, or we could just get you. All right, Lauren wants me to, by the way, on Zoom, Lauren's signaling me to stay with Ben.
Yes.
So we'll stay with you. So so after that class, you clearly something made you said you skipped it and went straight into the working world? After that class, like sometime after making that film is when you
Uh,
decided, I don't need to complete this degree. I need to like what was the decision there? Oh shit, did I lose Ben? Ben?
He's
Ben?
muted, I think. Ben, are you muted?
hey, I'm terribly sorry about that. Just suddenly the I couldn't hear you guys, so I'm just trying to get that back. I apologize.
Gotcha. Well, it's funny thing is I would almost want to edit my comment because like I flailed at trying to get a transitional question going. But okay, so after completing after that critical film that you put the hard drive away and you're never going to look at it again, the one that you collaborated. What came after that? What did you how soon how much longer did you stick it out at university before you decided you wanted to be doing your own thing? Oh shoot, are we
Oh
losing?
no.
Is this a connectivity thing? And we're
Probably.
and Lauren and I have better internet somehow.
Man,
All right, sorry, Lauren, you're gonna have to talk about.
that's
Well, first of
okay.
all, I kind of realized as Ben was talking that I didn't do such a good podcast host job because I introduced you, but I didn't really say you're involved. I mean, you're the only voice heard in the film.
Yeah. Well, there's Dr. Brennan, my father.
Oh, that's right.
But he's not ever really seen all that much. And mostly in pictures, I think. But yeah, so I'm the body and the voice of Saoirse, the lead character, and it really is one of those stories where it's her. It's like she's the movie, right? And it funny enough, I think, and Ben can correct me when he gets his audio issues fixed, but I believe I remember it's been 7 years or more. But I remember doing a little bit of movement for some of the ancillary characters that are like moving around her world. So even the characters that aren't me or that aren't that weren't Saoirse, I believe I did the movement for as well.
And that was a mocap suit kind of thing.
Yeah,
Oh, so
exactly.
you got to. I know it is funny. I've that is something I've learned from this podcast that yeah, people mocap, you can do every character.
Yeah, right. If you differentiate enough, I hope I did. Sometimes I was looking at some of the characters and I was like, was that my movement, Ben? It's looking a little similar to Saoirse. I don't know. I'm looking at it very critically, obviously, but
And obviously, so you recorded all the audio very early in the process.
well, we recorded live audio while we were, doing the motion capture in the volume. And I believe we recorded a little bit of audio while it was running. But then not long before this movie came out, like, what was it? Early 2025, in my apartment that you're seeing now, we set up like blankets and I sat under a blanket fort and we recorded in my bedroom, in my living room, essentially, with very noisy upstairs neighbors. And we did ADR for the entire thing. And so, Ben, is it true that most of what we did in my apartment is what is heard in the final product?
And we
Oh,
don't have him back
no.
yet. All right. And then it sounds, am I right in assuming that you stayed involved during that whole 7, 8 year process?
Yeah, I mean, Ben and I became friends and we would like hang out, and it wasn't just me monitoring like when is this coming out, Ben. It was like we would have barbecues together and he would come down, and for a while he lived in Orange County, which was much closer to where I am in Long Beach. And so yeah, he let me use his apartment for another little proof of concept short that I shot, and he directed me in another little proof of concept thing that I was doing with a buddy. And so like yeah, we've just kind of collaborated and stayed friends for a while now.
All right, so now you get to say, so are you primarily an actor, or what's
This
your
is the
hyphenation?
question, right? I act. I love to write. Right now I'm in post-production on a feature film that I wrote, directed, acted in. So very much indie actor, which means I'm a slasher, like I do a bunch of the things out of necessity, but also I'm learning that I might be a better writer than I am an actor. I might be, I really enjoy the writing part of it. And though it's not my most favorite thing to do administration, the producing part of it intrigues me for the sake of having control and running on my own timeline and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
So
because I mean, I'm going to be honest, like I would not meeting you both together at the festival, like it struck me as like, okay, so Lauren was like almost an unofficial producer on this film.
yeah, it felt like it. It felt like,
Oh, you're right.
I hung on tight because I was like, I could tell, first of all, doing a mocap anything was like a dream. And the fact that I got cast in this was like just like an absolute dream come true. I grew up with Andy Serkis as my hero for the work that he did in Lord of the Rings as Golem. And I brought this pillowcase to Ben at the premiere and I showed it to him about the age of the character Saoirse. She was what, about 14, 15. I whipped out this white pillowcase and I used fabric pens and I drew Golem on this pillow. And I literally wrote, and this is going to age me because this tells you about how old I was, but also tells you what era this is. I wrote, Andy Serkis is my hero because Golem is bomb tight. And so and this is before I even wanted to be an actor. Like, I didn't know that that's anything that was going to be in my future at all. Even though I grew up here in Long Beach, greater Los Angeles area, that wasn't ever my kind of aspiration. But being in this project, I knew that this was something special from the beginning. And I was just so excited to see the progress going on and be like, Ben, send me a screenshot, and show me where the progress is now. Because watching it unfold from, okay, it's me in the mocap suit, to hear the early, like, kind of almost grayed out, I don't know how to describe it, like grayed out clay formations of Saoirse. She's just being sculpted and her movement is just being addressed, and then early stages of her animation, and then lighting comes in and camera angles change and stuff, and it's not my area of expertise. Animation is so foreign to me. So it's just magic every time I'm getting progress and updates. And for it to be finally finished, it is exactly what I thought it was going to be, in the sense that it was as special as I thought it was going to be. And I'm so glad that I made the effort to hang on in those 7 years and be friends with Ben and stay connected. Because not just for his talent, he's a cool guy too. But
Yeah, and so you said you grew up in Long Beach, so
yeah.
and which ain't too far, and
Mm-mm.
and and so it's fascinating that Andy Serkis was a hero,
Yeah.
and you
I was
said,
obsessed with Lord of the Rings is what it was.
yeah,
So growing up, I grew up in the era of like Harry Potter was the books growing up, and my mom at the time, she's not this way anymore, has since read the books. She was like, witchcraft. She was freaked out by it a little bit. So she handed me Lord of the Rings and was like, here, this is a fantasy world that is, similar, but like it has, allegory. And so I read Lord of the Rings before the movies were even like a whisper in Hollywood. And I remember really loving them. And so when the movies came out, I was obsessed. I was so obsessed that there was a preview being done in LA for students, for high school students at the time. And I was in like a Quest program, they called it Quest. But the campus kids or Compass kids were invited on a field trip to go to this like 2 week early premiere of, I believe it was The Fellowship. It might have been another one. Um, and because I was in Quest, I wasn't invited, but I remember going to this teacher who wasn't my teacher. He wasn't my professor. And I was like, what do I have to do to get on the bus and go and to see this movie 2 weeks early? And he said, well, you got to read the book, and which check I had done, and write a paper. So here I am just like doing extra credit writing this paper so that I can go see this movie 2 weeks early before it hit theaters. So yeah, it was very much just, I think I look back now at my history, and even though I wasn't one of those kids like Ben who just from a young age knew he was creative, I was a creative hiding in an athlete's slash academics body. Like I was suppressing my creative side, I think, and it was coming out in these ways where it was like I was really drawn to this story, and the actor performing this role really spoke to me. But I wasn't even fathoming that I was ever going to do that, because in fourth grade I decided I was going to be a dolphin trainer. So essentially I'm a defunct dolphin trainer. And that's how I wound up as an actress, because what I did in fourth grade, I went and saw a dolphin show at SeaWorld in San Diego, which is only like 2 hours from Long Beach. And I decided that's what I want to do. I want to play with dolphins for the rest of my life. And so I went to career days. I wrote to SeaWorld and they wrote back. They told me exactly what you have to do to become a dolphin trainer. And because they're an entertainment industry, they mentioned, yes, it's good to be a marine biologist, but also we love to see theater majors or people who are comfortable speaking in front of a crowd and an audience. And so we can teach you everything you need to know about taking care of the dolphins. And also they hire marine biologists that are taking care of those things that aren't necessarily in the shows, right? And so if you're going to be in the shows, theater is kind of the way to go. So I decided, okay, I'm going to major in theater and probably minor in biology or whatever. And it was not to be an actor. It was to be a dolphin trainer. And I set my course. That's why I played water polo in high school, was because before you can even get an interview, you have to dive down and retrieve weights off the bottom of a pool and like prove that you can hold your breath and clear your ears. It's why I was a lifeguard at Seal Beach for so many years, because you have to get CPR certified and scuba certified. And one of my coworkers was a scuba instructor. And so I was checking boxes. And since the fourth grade, I set my sights and that's what I was going to be. So I was studying theater in college, and I had gone to SeaWorld to do some interviews to get into the park, just to like get working in the park, because they hire from within. Apparently they bulletin for dolphin trainers, and chamois trainers and stuff goes out within. And I'm studying theater and I'm getting my scuba certification, and I blew out my eardrums on one of my first open water dives. And I came to find out I have small eustachian tubes, which are like the tubes in your ears that allow you to clear your ears at great depth and great elevation. And came to find that I would never be able to dive down at the depth that they needed me to in order to even get the interview. And so I looked around in my life and I was like, well, I have been working towards this one goal my entire life. And I'm really enjoying this theater thing. Like, I really love story and I really love storytelling. And I already live in LA, and every other waitress here is an actress. So maybe I'll just try this actor thing. And so after college, I had a stint with a con artist trying to make a movie for a while, and volunteered for him for a minute. And then I wound up through a connection through him at an acting studio that I landed at for a very long time. Became the operations manager there, started actually teaching some of the classes, and coached actors, and kind of from there got really tired of because you can get into this trap as an actor where you can come out to LA, or you can just study your butt off. You can go to classes and really like get into the culture of class, and that's good and it's important. You have to develop your craft, right? But I was doing a lot of studying and not a lot of doing. And so finally, few friends and I got together and we started writing a little web series, and that snowballed into should we do a feature? And in the meantime, I was like self-submitting, which is how I met Ben and landed on this project. And so it's been a process of discovering that, and in even in retrospect, seeing, okay, like there's been this little artist in me for a long time, even when I thought I was an academic, like, and I was good in school and I got the 4.0 and I was the athlete and the captain of the water polo team. And like, that was my thing. I was never the theater kid that took theater classes. I was like, not until college, but even in college, everybody looked at me and they're like, why are you here? You don't want a theater degree. You just want to study this. And I was like, yeah, like I want to be a dolphin trainer.
But
So
not just a dolphin trainer, you were going to be the person with the mic attached to their
yes, yeah, yeah,
which
and
is
be
which
able
is a
to,
fast. I've never really
yeah,
aware now that that is actually where science, where
science and
biological science
entertainment,
meets performance. It
right?
really is a
Because you're
performance.
entertaining slash educating a crowd, right? And it really is important. Like, can you imagine a poor little marine biologist who just wants to play with animals all day and take care of them, but like forcing them to sit in front of 500 people and talk to them,
Yeah, no, I
in an
mean it's the
entertaining
difference
way?
between right. It's
That's,
the
yeah,
difference between your average astrophysicist and
right.
Neil deGrasse Tyson who can talk and
Yes,
present it in an entertaining way. Yeah, so it is a very
exactly.
specialized thing, and that goal led you
And
into
here
a
I
later
am.
career. Sorry to hear about the eustachian tubes.
I know. I've since learned and that you can get like surgery to like
Yeah,
whiten
that
them a little bit,
like I have a
stints in
niece
your
who
ears.
had constant earaches and they put the tubes in or
Uh-huh. And it wasn't something that I considered at the time because I just kind of pivoted. Like I had like a identity death, which I mourned for like a short second, and then I was just like, but I love this thing that I've discovered, so here we are.
excellent. And so Ben, who I think Ben, you're back, yeah? Oh, because he had messaged over in the
Let's see.
Zoom chatting. Okay. Well, I thought Ben was back. I'm gonna type
Oh,
"Are you there?" just in case he can't hear us either. He
yeah.
wrote that he's having headphone issues.
He can
But
hear.
anyway, it was a casting call. Oh, he can hear. But Ben, can you not speak? Because we can't hear Ben. Oh
Hmm.
shit.
He's not even muted either, so he's really having.
Yeah, I wonder if well, we're at the point where you have Ben had obviously just posted
Uh-huh.
whatever
He did a
on a
casting
website,
call.
backstage website or whatever or something,
Yes, I believe it was backstage. Yeah.
right? And
Hmm.
God, that was a lucky grab.
I know. I know. I'm so blessed. I haven't had a project like that since where it's just
Right,
like,
right. And that's what led to the storm. All right, I'm going to make the executive decision to hit pause on the recording
okay.
now. All right, so we had some technical problems, but we're back. So now I'm just going to ask Lauren. So the first audition for the storm was a self-tape?
It was self-tape. It said mocap, like project unnamed, I think, on backstage. And I was like,
Yep. Hmm.
yes, please. That all day long. And I remember being like so nervous and so excited for the opportunity, and also thinking, I'm never in a million years going to get this, but I'm going to try. And so I submitted a self tape, chest up, which is very strange for a motion capture. I probably should have done a little wider situation, but that was what I was used to as an actress. Like, that's what a self tape looks like. And yeah, Ben, you can take it from there.
Yeah, because Ben, when you do a posting like that on backstage, that you probably got a flood of self-tapes sent to you.
I was shocked. Yeah. Well, that was a interesting process because as us animators, especially animator slash directors, we see it in our heads, so we're very arrogant, and we think we can animate anything. So my original plan for this is I just wanted to do it myself. So I'm like, well, I'll just go on the mocap stage and I know what I want to see. I'll just get some voiceover artist to do it later. And as the opportunities for using the stage presented themselves, and as I'm getting acquainted with the technology, I started to realize I'm like, it's not really feasible. Like you can't be the technician, the director, and the actor all at the same time. So I'm like, okay, I'll get somebody. So, yeah, tons of applicants. And this is like paying peanuts, right? It's just like a personal project, but yet hundreds of people submitted tapes, and um, I went through every single one. And actually, Lauren, your angle was ideal because what we were looking for is the face, looking for the emotion, the body movement. Like as an animator, for me, the point of motion capture is just natural body movement. You just want the physics of reality to be captured. You're not looking for someone to consciously create that. It just comes with the territory, right? So I was barely paying attention to body movement at all. And I was looking at the face. And then, yeah, Lauren stood out immediately. It came down to two people. Um, and after much deliberation, sending the tapes to the trusted friends and colleagues, I'm like, which of these people is the best? I remember my best friend, who was actually the same guy that was my partner on that college film we discussed earlier. He says that Lauren's got mojo.
I want a shirt that says that has mojo.
Mojo.
And what were you all, did you have a preconception in your mind of what the voice would sound like?
That's a
Or
great
was it really more
question.
about the face?
For me, I knew, yeah, it was about the emotion coming through the facial expressions. So the voice, I knew that there wasn't going to be much dialogue. But I think going into casting, it was like, just if the voice was like just completely wrong, then that might have some impact. But also, if someone could act so well, and let's say for some reason their voice is just not fitting, it's animation. I can redo the voice later, Darth Vader style, right? And we ended up doing that anyway, because on the stage we just had a mic that was Velcroed to Lauren, and it was largely used for time code or just timing, making sure that things sync up, and of course recording the performance. But when the time came and the visuals are coming into place and the audio is coming into place, that microphone just couldn't cut it. It just wasn't good enough for a theater. And so that's when all these years later, we go and I put poor Lauren into this huge pit of pillows. And she's like
Oh, wait, no,
hyperventilating in
that was a
there.
pillow fort. She has
Yeah.
very fond memories of the pillow fort and blankets.
Oh, I have pictures. It's very fun. But it is difficult, like 7 years later, recreating, you know, that
Yeah, the
experience of
intent.
like the intense running, and I'm like crammed into this pillow fort, like hunched over, and like, like
And you're performing as a much younger person, right? Like you,
right?
honestly, I was fooled. I I clearly remember the first viewing of it, uh, and I wasn't alone. My wife was there. I my suspension of disbelief was at maximum, and
Oh,
I
beautiful.
assumed that you had an actual 15-ish-year-old voicing that.
Oh, I love that. That's great to hear. That's what we're aiming for.
That was good.
And I'm actually kind of shocked that you didn't. Well, did you say, okay, Lauren, give me your best 15-year-old? I'm assuming she was around 15.
She was,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and yeah, that was part of it, is I needed to believe that she was that age. Um, and now I'm trying to think back all those years. Um, when we were on the stage, we were really focused, and that was probably some of the highest focus I've had in my life, because I needed to get this whole movie in like 2 or 3 nights, as far as the actual performance aspect of it. And I remember really watching Lauren's face. And of course, like at that point, Lauren and I had had a bunch of meetings, so I trusted her research and her having the background already. Like I didn't need to support her as a director in that way, which was really good. So I could just focus on what I was seeing. And actually, like I tell this story all the time. I was a younger director then. That's when I learned how much uh, an actor can bring, like a good professional actor. I'm like, oh, I could not have imagined that performance. I couldn't have animated that from my mind that needed to come from someone with a different perspective and someone who is living the character, not just visualizing the character like a director does. Um, and from that point onward, I'd always just trust my actors now. And I'm like, of course, you got to guide them on certain things because they do live inside the character. But that was a big turning point for me as a creator was to break away from some of that animation control because you get gold when you allow another perspective of a high caliber to play around, you know? And a lot of those moments that ended up being, I think, memorable in the movie were not written as such. Um, for example, I don't know if you recall, there's a scene where she's standing at the big heavy gate, anticipating opening the door to enter the storm, and she slams it, and that whole thing is very grand. But as it was written, it was very short. It wasn't much of a moment. Like she considers it briefly, and then she runs in, and then the running was more the moment. But as I'm watching her face take on this environment and this weight, it became, I think, a much more compelling scene with a lot more gravitas to it. But that can only happen if you've got a great actor who you're trusting, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, you just totally pointed at something out that you literally just made me aware that when you make something over this amount of time, I mean, we as humans truly change.
Mhm.
And
Hmm.
7, 8 years, you are not at all the filmmaker you are when you say
No.
this film is completed versus the person who wrote the script.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, every cell in my body is now different. I just found out, according to my
Yeah,
biology
isn't that
friend.
like every 7 years, every
Yeah,
cell is done
exactly. So yeah, you're
insane?
completely right. And looking back, yeah, like if I were to make that movie again, it would be different today because I'm a different creator and a different artist. But
But who you
for
are was shaped by the making of it over the past 7 years. So you're
yeah,
in
and the
like this
learning,
like
absolutely.
loop of impossibility.
And
Hmm.
actually make me aware of a question I didn't pull out of you yet, but I think it also might have been microphone related. But so the story, the writing of it,
Hmm.
how long did when did you get the kernel of the idea? Because you said, I just want to make something, and you figured, it'll take me a year. And but also how
Um,
long of a writing? Because well, I guess I also just want to ask, like, obviously, I've already shared with you how strongly I feel about how beautiful the visuals are, and by
Thank you.
beautiful, I don't just mean pleasing to the eye. I mean there is meaning and substance to so much of what we see,
Thank you.
and honestly, it truly is right. Like, how long? I mean that honestly, like your third act, if I'm going to call it the third act, or maybe it's even the second act, it's almost dialogue free once the character enters the storm, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you are all the emotion and all the story and everything, every possible transition is done visually.
Hmm.
And you
Yes.
succeed at that unbelievable task you gave yourself where, we shift from fear to wonder to, I mean, it's a goddamn roller coaster.
Well, and
Thrill
that
ride, right?
that also goes back to the face and how important that is.
Yeah, but what I want to ask is on the page, did
Mhm.
you were you describing visuals? Were you describing emotions? Was it both?
Well, literally just the words on the page. So I already essentially saw the movie in my head, and so the writing was more for the actor. So I didn't include too much description. I think I described it enough so that I thought the actor had something to work with and that they could imagine that. But I didn't go into great detail because I knew I was going to be the one doing it. So, and like I already see it in my head. They don't need to read a page of me ad nauseum talking about the, you know, the pillars and the light refracting and everything.
Right. So you
Um,
took shortcuts because you were doing it yourself and you knew what your animator would know what you needed because that was you.
exactly. Yes. Yeah. If I was writing it for a team, well, even I might write it the same way because I'm a big believer in pre-visualization or concept art, because I think there's much you can't convey through words, especially when you're trying to get a specific vision. You just need to sit down and draw it or get an artist to paint it. Um, or previs, sometimes you play in that playground and you have artists bounce ideas off each other. But going back to your question about the writing of it, I believe it took me about a month, maybe 2 months to write the story. It was, one of these art pieces where you're trying to process something. And it didn't start out that way. Like I said, the inspiration was I just want to make a short film that's cool. But as I kind of pondered on it and followed the feeling of the emotion and the story, it ended up being this thing that was very, trauma process heavy and largely reflective of my own mental journey, which I think is why I needed to make it. It's kind of an extended therapy session in a sense, because if you can transform it into something beautiful, then it matters. So that's, I think, the real reason, even if you're not aware of it when you start, which I certainly wasn't. Um, but there you go.
Right. There was an element of catharsis for you,
Hmm. Definitely.
because it actually is a very emotional story, and you were processing those emotions through this film.
Yes, absolutely. Well,
Wow.
it did so many things. It's processing emotions, but then making it really mean something because of all the learning taking place as well. And, just trying to get it to be the best it can be with limited resources is a great challenge to kind of apply meaning to a task. Um, so yeah, it was a lot of work, a lot more than I thought, but it was fun, and the learning makes it fun as well, so that
And
you can keep going every year and it doesn't get tiring.
right, yeah, wow. Seriously. Well, obviously you had some balance while you were making it. You probably still needed food and shelter. So it wasn't 8 years full time. But also I just have to go back to this thing that I'm saying it too often, but I'm just becoming more and more aware of it, is that the more specific and personal the story that's written and the story that's told, the more universal it is. Like if you sat
Mm.
down and tried to write
Absolutely.
a universal story about what it's like to seek a connection to a parent and to seek this and seek that, you get jack shit. But you write
Absolutely.
something super specific and personal, and then everyone looks at it and feels it and identifies. It's
That's very well said. Yeah, there's
yeah,
universality in the specifics. Well, and that's,
exactly.
art being such a art is a perspective driven act of creation. When you try to generalize something like you just said, it ends up flatter and flatter and flatter until you become so general that you just forget it. It's nothing. It's
It's why
funny.
the grandparent on a sitcom doesn't mean shit to us. But but I have seen a grandparent character at the film festival, specifically in June, where someone made an incredibly faithful representation of their Filipino grandpa, and he was the same freaking grandpa I had. Like
Oh,
There you
like it was
go.
so specific that everyone in the audience, every single person there saw a grandparent that they loved too.
Absolutely. Well, and
Yeah,
that's where we get memorable film, Think about all your favorites, and I guarantee it's coming from someone's highly specific perspective that they're channeling into a great piece of art. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
I guess
Absolutely.
that's where we get the cliche, write what you know, right? And it's not about write what you know, as in, you've never been to Mars. You can't write about Mars, but write what you know as far as like, if you think about The Martian, you think about, the idea of trying to survive and trying to, he has objectives and goals that are, I think, universal. Even though he's on a completely different planet and we've never had the experience of going there, we relate to all the emotions that his character is going through as he's just trying to survive and get rescued. And so it's like, write the emotions that, write the yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I mean,
everybody
obviously
resonates.
that
Yeah.
that saying is so true, except for the hacks. There's hacky people who they write what they know. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, you're. But anyway,
Yeah.
Well,
keep
actually,
going.
to that point, it's funny. My someone just turned me on to, is it Letterboxd, I think is the app, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you can rate movies.
Yeah.
And so I got obsessed with it and started rating all, every single movie I've seen, which is a very silly thing to spend your time doing. But I got to films like, let's say, The Room, for example. And I realized that, like, let's say, like, craftsmanship aside, his perspective was highly personal. And we remember that movie. I saw like 500 movies on that list that I saw and that I rated. I'm like, oh, that was okay. Didn't remember him until I saw the poster. But I remember The Room because he created something memorable. His perspective shone through, regardless of what you can say about the set design or the acting or what have you. There
It
was something
really
very
does.
personal.
And it's proof that a fucked up bizarre guy from Eastern Europe, as long as he, he made something personal and then it manages, and his genius was when people found it funny, he embraced that instead of fighting it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Well, even so far as I'm pretty sure, hasn't he said that he intended it that way?
yeah, now he's
Yes.
lying. Now he's
Yeah.
reversed it.
Right.
He thought he was making Citizen Kane, and we know it.
For sure.
Yup. But that's what makes it good. He was trying to make Citizen Kane, you know?
Well, and I'd rather have a filmmaker like that embrace how the audience accepts it instead of, go back to their earlier work and be like, oh, this film that everyone loves, I'm going to take all the guns and make them walkie-talkies. Like, F you.
No.
Terrible
No,
reference, but all right,
no,
so
I agree. I agree.
regarding the storm, so after working, so we know you worked with Lauren mocap and you were focusing on the face you explained. And then we know that you re-recorded her voice under a pillow fort in blankets in
The
Long Beach,
only way in the
California,
indie world. The
right?
only way.
No, I mean
No.
it's just
Yeah.
look, we are all recording podcasts right now
Yes.
from our homes in Zoom.
Yep.
Um, but so the what was this? I mean, we don't have to spend too much time on it, but that 7 year process. So I really do want to highlight that you saw the film from start to finish in your mind. You had it. You knew it. You
Yes.
knew what you wanted
Yes.
from the start, all 60 minutes.
Well, in a sense, yes. I mean, in my head, when I played it through, it was closer to half an hour, 40 minutes. But like I said, as you kind of explore those scenes, the timing sort of grows and changes. But in essence, the moments were all there. But I had to allow some room to move because if you adhere too closely to that vision, that's where the money comes in, right? Money or time, either one. They're interchangeable in this case. But if I had been like, no, what I see in my head must match 99% rather than, let's say, 80, 85. If I hadn't allowed room to breathe and let's like the instance where Lauren will create a moment, um, it would have taken me way longer and it would have been a worse film because so many of those moments were created in the moment on the set. So it wasn't a monumentally strict adherence to the vision. It was, I'd say, like 80% adherence. Um,
Right, but
well,
at
and
least you
then,
weren't sitting there figuring out what do I want to do next here. You knew. You knew. So
yes,
once
that's
the
true.
7, 8 years complete, what the heck was that like? I mean, did you actually sit back and go, that's it. I'm done. Right? In the because there's still post and everything and there's still editing you can do, right?
Well, in this case, basically everything came together sort of at the same time. I had brought on Sylvain before the movie was done, before all the rendering was complete and everything. So he was making music while I was still rendering and maybe placing cameras on a few shots, compositing. And then I brought on Richard as well. shortly thereafter, because I knew the music was going to tell a lot of the story, so that took precedent. That needed to be there first. But then, yeah, so it kind of coalesced all at once, and I remember I put that last render into the timeline, or at least the last render where I was, mostly pleased with it. There's still like 100 little errors in the timeline, but I'm like, it's not worth fixing. Like I'm gonna leave it. No one has mentioned it. No one notices, so I'll leave it. But the day that I put in that last rendered shot, I actually went off to go shoot a movie out of state with a friend. So I didn't have much time to ponder it. Um, I come back to California and it's done. So really the next for me, I'm not sure, the feeling there wasn't like a strong moment of doneness because like I had seen it in my head for so long. So now the only difference is that it's external. Um,
Ben, you're telling me we spent 2 weeks in Kansas together on Grant's film and you had finished the movie and you didn't tell me? We were there together.
I think that I did tell you, and you were just overwhelmed with the responsibilities.
Maybe. Oh my
Nearly
gosh.
certain, of course, then again, who knows? That was quite a drive. But but so the moment for me was actually like seeing it with an audience. That's what the next real moment is.
That's
Because
the next real
then
moment. And
yeah.
did you know in advance that you wanted to, do a festival run and all that?
Oh, I was hoping to. Of course, when I started it, it was just a personal project for me. But as the years went on and it got bigger and people seemed to respond positively to it, then the idea of doing a festival run came more to the forefront. But yeah, seeing it with people is so completely different. You pick up on how they're feeling about it, and so your perspective on it will change depending on the viewing. Um, and that part to me as a director is so interesting. Because then you learn what you did wrong, what you did right. Well, and you learn how your vision corresponds with reality, because
Mm.
you imagine that this is going to be a moment or that this is going to elicit this emotion. But you don't know until people see it. So yeah, having it done was really just uh, part of the process up until the screening. Then then that's when I felt done,
Right,
like
yeah.
having it be
And
shown.
to do a very weak analogy, that premiere screening in a theater was giving birth.
Yes, yeah, it
It
was.
it had finally left you.
Absolutely. Yeah, now it's in the world and I don't need to continue to touch it or work on it or anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
And I will cross my fingers and pray that it gets once you've hit some key festivals and everything. I had your run. I mean, this film's got to get out there. It's got to get out
Absolutely.
there. I
I agree. I'm doing everything I can to put it into the world and um
yeah, because my God, if people, what can I say? Like, you know,
well, can I self-indulgently ask you
of
your
course.
your critical opinion of it? Because I know that you've told me that you like it and that makes my heart sing. But yeah, what is your more detailed thoughts on the film as a viewer?
Uh, okay, I'm gonna dodge that bullet in a way and
Oh
just say
man.
this. I am making an official offer. If it ever happens, if you ever wanted to sit with somebody and do a Criterion commentary type thing, I
Oh,
would
that'd be a
volunteer to
Ooh.
sit
blast.
because this is the thing is to discuss the storm. I would almost want to sit there with you and discuss it as it's playing and ask you, okay, so this visual is giving me this feeling, and I feel like this is what she's experiencing, but what did you intend? Because obviously, right, every person's viewing experience is unique.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone with the emotions and experience we bring to a work of art is unique. So, I mean, honestly, all I can tell you is to answer your question and not be an asshole and refuse to, is that you grabbed my wife and I as she was running the laps.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that's the first scene. with
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
And from then on, it's honestly just an incredibly satisfying journey and I guess I should add, okay, so this is a last oh, not an over the top compliment, just a compliment, which is that, filmmakers, especially the indie ones, but no, every artist makes themselves vulnerable to a situation, which is you set something up, and then the question is, do you deliver, right? And
Mm.
that's why the ending of a film is the most important. As important as those grabbing someone early, when we are disappointed with the way a story ends,
Mm. Yes.
it almost negates the first 57 minutes if in the last three you're like,
Yep.
oh man, why did it end that way?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you're so right.
Especially like a J.J. Abrams ending that makes all of us just be
I
like,
wasn't gonna say it.
were you thinking that?
Yes, I absolutely.
So and this film is perfect to the end. This is just perfect to the end. So
Thank
so
you so
so you
much.
have my offer. If
I'll take you
the
up on
funny
that
thing is,
offer.
I thought you were going to ask
Absolutely.
me where you think you should take it because, like, I mean, I'm not even kidding. Like, if anyone in Netflix had their brain in their head, not their ass, like they should just give you a ton of money to make this like its own thing in that Love, Death, and Robots or whatever.
That
Gosh.
Like,
that that's a great dream of mine. I love that series, and I would be. It'd be such a cool career moment to be part of that. So
it's
I'm
an
hoping that
amazing
you're helping
series,
me
and they've never
manifest
done
that into the
anything this
world.
long, but it is of that caliber. So
I
that's
truly appreciate that. Thank
that's
you.
where I'm
And I
sticking.
will take you up on the commentary offer. We got to find the time to do it, but I'd love to do that.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'd even all right. So I think that gets us up to well, this podcast will come out in February. So
Amazing.
we can pretend that this is February of 2026.
Awesome.
Happy
But
Valentine's Day, everyone.
Oh, thank you.
let's do it. Actually, I believe this podcast will come out on February 9th, and then
Nice.
what the both of you answering the four questions thingy will be 2 days later on the 11th of February. But
Awesome.
so like next steps for both of you, like obviously you're not probably gonna Ben's not gonna dive into another 8 year but maybe but I
Maybe
mean
with some Netflix money, he might.
yeah, obviously
Yeah,
you have to get somewhere with this, but clearly you have the drive to make more.
I do. I mean I love animation. I love filmmaking. I can't really do anything else. That's my where my heart is. My next thing is I would love to first finish this music video that I hope you'll see soon. And then just, it's New Year's. I just did the goals for the year and I want to get two features done this year. As far as scripts.
Gotcha,
Um,
stories, right. So I have
yeah,
two things.
two feature scripts ready to go. And then I would like to start I would like to start some more shorts, just to sort of prime myself for another feature this year. If a feature starts this year, that would be great, but I have a feeling that the timing will not be as such. I think I'd like to take some time to animate something smaller scale, um, and get back into it, and then prep for the next feature. Because yeah, I've showing it, that's the reward. And now it's like, well, I want to show it again. Like, but this time, different film. So yeah, two feature scripts, and then we'll see what happens next.
Excellent, excellent. And I will certainly hope for you that your 2026 is filled with a couple more public screenings in
Oh, I
places
hope
where
so.
it's
Yes.
appreciated and excellent. And Lauren, I assume you're well, you've mentioned some other projects and writing and things.
Yeah. So let's see. I write for Dave's Hot Chicken for internal training videos, and we're on our third series of training videos. So if you're an employee at Dave's Hot Chicken, you've seen my work. So we've got.
Don't snooze on industrial films.
Seriously.
That's good shit.
And I will say Dave's Hot Chicken is like cutting edge. They love entertainment. The last round we did was like Hamilton style musical training videos. And so I feel like yeah, they're fun. And so they definitely appreciate art in their in entertainment in their training, which is fun. I'm in post-production on a feature that I wrote, and actually at your festival I met Glenn Reynolds, who was one of the panel members of the indie film distribution panel, which was so enlightening and very educational. And the panel members that you chose were very generous in just both the information, but also in answering the questions that we all very specifically had about our various projects and different works in progress. And I'm in contact with Glenn right now because I'm in a little bit of a death spiral, what my grandpa, who was a fighter pilot, would call it, like a graveyard spiral or a death spiral, which is like that out of control thing that's happening where I have shot the thing and I, am really struggling with the edit and am losing joy and faith. I'm at that point in the creative process. Did you ever hit that, Ben, with the storm?
Well,
did you ever have a death spiral way at the end?
Way at the end, I was getting a little tired of dealing with all the technical difficulties, but thankfully the storm was a pretty enjoyable experience
that's
despite
good.
The length of time it took.
That's good. So but Glenn has offered to, help me maybe get out of my death spiral and make a decision on my fork in the road that I am facing about whether or not it's like worth doing pickups to fix, or do I Tarantino the thing and just trash it like Tarantino did with his first film? I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out right now. Am I pot committed or am I committing a fallacy? So I want to get out of this death spiral. And one of the people I met at your festival is willing to help me do that. And there's that. I'm writing a feature right now for a friend, and I've got to get out of my corner of the writer thing that happens with self-doubt. And I've written 15 pages and stopped. I need to, the holidays hit and stuff, but I need to pick that back up and hit the 90-page mark and fade to black. So it's always kind of like just works in progress, trying to keep multiple irons in the fire. I'm going to take Christian to coffee when I get a sec. I really enjoyed speaking with her at the festival. And so I have learned you in particular, this festival has really salvaged the film festival reputation in my mind and in my heart, because I was very anti-film festival. I had some really nasty experiences, and going to the Sherman Oaks one, everyone was just so beyond lovely and wonderful to talk to, and just eager to help each other and possibly collaborate and just network. And I'm actually excited to start hitting those Instagram inboxes that we all exchanged with each other. And so.
Oh, yeah, so great. What a great
I have to
experience.
admit, I hear, this is, I'll give myself 1 second to be a cocky asshole. Which is, we're not typical.
Yeah.
I hear people, there's lots of wonderful festivals and a lot of people have great experiences, places, but we I think I wish I knew. I should, instead of prefacing it as that this is a lie, I should just pretend it's true. But 6 years ago, someone attending Sherman Oaks Film Festival just said to me, "This is the festival that gives a shit."
Yes.
And
it's so true.
And I repeated it over the years. And so for our 10th anniversary, we put it on a t-shirt and a coffee cup.
I felt that from you, and I felt that from all the people you employed. And I really, really felt like it was the right home for the world premiere of The Storm, because it's been such a labor of love on Ben's behalf. It's been my favorite project to date to be a part of, and it really needed it. I would have been so sad had we gone to some festival that nobody showed up for, and that, you didn't even get a chance to network with anybody, or these things can lend themselves to being full of really selfish and I don't know, self-serving sort of individuals. And it was not that way here.
Yeah, it depends
No,
on the
this
vibe, and Lord knows, look, the thing that look, it's tough to grow and keep quality at the same time, but I think we have, and like you said, it's the people, you know, it's when when
absolutely.
when you meet good people, you just have to be like, okay, okay. It's so funny. By the way, Christian is wonderful,
Oh my
and
gosh.
it's she's so funny because she would like forget to like announce an award, and I would like sneak in and go, by the way, this person just won. She's like, oh my God, you're not going to have me back. I'm not doing my job. I'm like,
Oh,
you are doing a wonderful job.
she's amazing.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So yeah, yeah, for sure. And
The
same with
festival begins
everybody.
to shift.
Honestly, I'm happy. I do follow that rule as the festival runner, whatever the Jack Welch of GE just said, you know, get rid of your bottom 10%, the worst 10% of your workforce, fire as often as possible. Just keep the top 90 and anybody who's not up to snuff. Like you say to yourself, do we encourage them to get better? Do we try to explain what we're about here? And the answer is you can't teach someone to care.
Mm-mm. No.
You know, you
That's
either
so
care
true.
or you don't.
Yeah.
Well, and you guys care. It shows. It's
We care.
fantastic.
We care. All right. Well, thanks to all our technical problems, I have no idea if this was 2 or 3 or an hour and a half. I have no idea how long we've been talking. So we should probably wrap it up because we've asked everyone, but I'm sure they've all hung with us the whole way. Uh,
I'm
but
sure.
we will make the stormmovie.com website a clickable link in the show notes.
Oh,
And
thank you
on
very much.
Instagram, you're at the_storm_movie. So those will both be clickable links in the show notes. People should, by the way, if you're listening to this and you ever attend film festivals, you should certainly stay on that website and or Instagram and make sure that you try to catch it in a theater sometime.
Thank you.
Because even if it gets the acknowledgement and distribution it deserves, like we know what's happened to the theatrical world right now. Like it's hard to catch films in theaters now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it could have an amazing life on a streaming service where literally everyone is telling their friends, "Oh man, have you watched The Storm yet? You got to watch The Storm on blah 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 streamer, you know?" And it will hopefully have a wonderful life on there. But to see it on a 50 to 75-foot screen,
It changes you. Yeah.
it's just well, I'm glad I got to see the last 20 minutes that way, but fuck me, I didn't get to see the first
Aw.
Well,
too
when I
busy.
get that Netflix check, I'll rent out a theater and show it again. You know,
Or any check. Who knows? That'd be nice if who knows. But you know, I'm an idealist and I certainly hope the absolute best for you. So,
thank you
all
so
right, everyone
much.
listening,
Much appreciated.
check out the links in the show notes so that you can follow Ben. Well, I just mentioned the storm stuff, but obviously, Lauren, you should send your Instagram,
Totally. Will
whatnot.
do.
Maybe in a link to a Dave's Hot Chicken. No, so anyway,
We can all learn about how they fry their chicken.
you know, I haven't eaten there yet. So anyway,
Oh, it's so good.
my favorite local
should.
Baja Fresh became a Dave's Hot Chicken, and
Oh, you got to try it.
it
You
was
got to
it
try
was
it.
soul crushing because I just love Baja Fresh. But anyway, now we're talking Southern California food.
Yes. They're worldwide now. So,
I think it's called fast casual. But anyway,
yes, agreed.
oh my God. So anyway, I will wrap up this podcast. Thank you both. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone who's listening. If you want to learn more about this podcast, where we talk to filmmakers who are on the festival circuit, go to discoverindiefilm.com. On social media, it's always at DIFwins. And I have personally quit social media for a year now. I quit January of last year.
Dang, good for you.
Congratulations.
And I haven't mentioned this for a little while, but it was funny. I quit it for obvious reasons. I think you might remember what happened January last year. And the weirdest thing happened was I just quit social media because I just didn't want it in my life anymore. And then a weird thing happened on the fourth night. I grabbed a book that had been on my nightstand for a couple years, and I read this book. So I don't read all the time, but I actually have read books. I read 4 books last year. And I hope to read 4 more. So
love that.
And it actually makes you feel better.
Totally.
Who'd have thought, huh?
Right?
Even though I almost miss my bunny rabbit and husky videos on.
I know.
It was one after another because I always made sure to skip over bad things and only watch nice things. But still, it's just like
I didn't do this festival right. I had a governor on my Instagram, or I've had one for a while on my Instagram to help with the scrolling. It prevents me from scrolling more than 5 minutes at a time, and only for an hour total a day. And while I was at the festival, I kept signing on to like add people, and it would like kick me off. and I also haven't posted any pictures from the festival, which I should do. I need to do. Like some people there were so good at like live posting and sharing, and like I really didn't represent the festival the best way I possibly could have because of this governor. But like I feel lighter, not being so attached to it. So
it is. It's big.
Gosh.
All right. Well, so here you get enough people who love tangents in a podcast.
I know it'll never end.
and I am the ultimate criminal of the tangent. So anyway, discoverindiefilm.com is for the podcast and some things that grew out of it. But if you go to discoverindiefilm.org, that is the nonprofit that runs both Sherman Oaks Film Festival and its sister festival, Film Invasion Los Angeles. So you just have to go to discoverindiefilm.org, and that'll take you to the social media and websites for both festivals. I think I already mentioned during this podcast that we hold Sherman Oaks every December and Film Invasion LA every June. And by the way, just a couple weeks before this podcast releases, their cousin in South America was born. Film Invasion Lima, Peru did happen.
Awesome.
Film Invasion Lima is a special thing, wonderful team down there, and great films, including a lot of work from alumni, including one film written and directed and starring my wonderful podcast producer, Karina Wolf.
Hey!
And also another one that she acted in. I'm like, oh my gosh, she did. So,
congrats.
And by the way, I'll say the team down there that chose the films, Karina, if you're listening to this, they didn't know that was, as they say, my Karina. Like, they're like, we didn't know that was your Karina. So I'm like,
I love that. That's great.
That's Karina. Karina's awesome.
Well, that just validates their choice of her film even more, that it wasn't internal.
Right? I always tell alumni, and by this is a funny thing to say at the end, but I always say like, no, we really don't give you preference. Like if your next film isn't as, if it doesn't, we have a certain number of jurors and we all rate everything 1 to 10, and then I'm the one who sorts the spreadsheet. And if alumni's not in that at the top, well, I don't pull it up because like
you hear that, Ben? Their next one's got to be better than the storm.
I got to make it even
be less
better.
than that.
Equal to the storm. But yeah, it always breaks my heart when I'm like, oh man, an alumni will send an email and be like, why didn't I get in? And I'm like, that's not a fair question.
Man, well, yeah, push the quality. I like that.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to make everything just as good.
We do the quality only thing, and it's all we know how to do because we are a funny experiment. We're seeing if you can be a success if you focus on quality and if you give a shit. And the jury's still out. We're at 10 years, but
top 100.
I'm very well. Every once in a while, I give her. Honestly, I would be running these festivals out of my car. I have somewhere to live because a wonderful person loves me. So anyway,
Shout out.
Thank you to my beautiful life partner for allowing me to devote my life to the arts.
I've got one of those too. It's always important as an artist to have that balance in your partner who can keep you grounded.
A little bit. All right. I will thank you both again.
Thank you.
And
this
thank
was
you,
wonderful.
everyone, for listening. Oh, and the next podcast after this one, like I mentioned, releases 2 days after this, and we're going to listen to these two answer the Discover Indie Film 4 questions, which is always fun. And we'll learn about their favorite movies and such. All right.
Yes.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone who listened.
Au revoir.